Most exciting destination in all of northern Wisconsin. LCO Casino Lodge and Convention Center, Hayward. LCO.
Hello, I'm Kimberly, and welcome to the weekend edition of the NAVE News Update. It's Friday, February 10th. Many of the stories you hear here can be found at IndianCountryNews.com. And here's the news for today from the Associated Press and other Native news sources. A U.S. Senate committee on February 8th advanced a bill that would give federal recognition to Montana's Little Shell tribe of Chippewa Indians, following a decade-long effort. Recognition would both validate the Little Shell's identity as a tribe and make its roughly 6,000 members eligible for government benefits, ranging from education to health care. The bill would also require the U.S. Department of the Interior to acquire 200 acres for the Little Shell that could be used for a tribal government center, housing, or other purposes. The tribe has been without a recognized homeland since the late 1800s, when Chief Little Shell and his followers in North Dakota broke off treaty negotiations with the U.S. government. Tribal members later settled in Montana and Canada and are now scattered across the U.S., Northern Plains states, and central Canada. The Interior Department gave preliminary approval to recognizing the Little Shell in 2000, but rescinded the move in 2009. The agency denied recognition for the Little Shell again in 2013. The state of Montana recognized the tribe in 2000. Montana Senator Steve Daines said the Little Shell's frustrations getting tribal recognition demonstrates that the federal recognition process is broken. A federal judge ruled that federal regulators must push more water down the Klamath River in order to combat a deadly parasite that kills juvenile salmon in the springtime. Specifically, Judge William H. Horrock ruled that the Federal Bureau of Reclamation, which manages the dams and diversions on the river, must provide two sorts of emergency water releasers in order to combat the sea Shasta parasite, which in recent years has killed multitudes of juvenile fish, including the threatened coho salmon, which is protected under the Endangered Species Act. Horrock's ruling ordered regulators to release a strong pulse of water every year in the winter in order to disrupt the life cycle of the worms that host the parasite. In addition, the ruling ordered regulators to release emergency flows of water from the upstream Klamath project in the event that levels of sea Shasta infections reach 30% or greater in young fish. The ruling was made directly in response to a suit brought by the Hoopa Valley tribe last year, but according to Tribal Fisheries Director Mike Arcott, it also consolidated similar petitions brought by the Yurok tribe, the Pacific Coast Federation of Fishermen's Association, and the Klamath River Keeper. The board of the American Indian Film Festival, launching in Richmond, Virginia this coming November, decided on a new name for the festival, Pocahontas Reframed, Native American Storytellers. On February 4th, there was a long discussion among 24 people, including representatives from 7 Virginia tribes that support the festival, as well as guest artist and board members Chris Eyre, the director of Smoke Signals, stuntman and actor George Aguilera, and director and writer Georgina Lightning. The Jefferson Hotel will play host to a black tie event in coordination with the festival, which will be held November 17th through the 19th at the Byrd Theater in Richmond, Virginia. The Shakopee Mdewakanton Sioux community gave a $100,000 donation to the Reclaiming Native Truth project that is co-managed by First Nations Development Institute and EchoHawk Consulting. The gift is part of a package of new Shakopee donations totaling more than $4 million for Native American causes in several states. Reclaiming Native Truth is a groundbreaking project that will consolidate and build upon previous research efforts in order to create a long-term Native-led movement that will positively transform the popular image of and narrative about Native Americans. From 2016 to 2018, the project team is working with an advisory committee of Native leaders, stakeholders, and racial equity experts and advocates to understand the underlying reasons for society's negative and inaccurate perceptions of Native Americans. Based on this improved understanding, the project will have the tools necessary to build consensus around tackling this long-term problem. It is expected that the project will lead to the creation of a national campaign to achieve greater awareness, respect, and equality for Native peoples. Colville tribal member Lonnie Reyes has released his latest book, The Last Fish War: Survival on the Rivers. The book gives a first-hand account of attacks on Native American fishing rights near Tacoma, Washington, in the 1950s and 60s. Marlon Brando and Dick Gregory are referenced in the 60s era civil obedience piece, which starts at $25 for the hard copy. The book can be found on Amazon.com, among other locations. And that's another roundup of news from Indian Country on this edition of the NAVE News Update. I'd like to thank you for joining me, and have a grand day.